Hello, friends. It's Jen here. I'm a self-awareness and nutritional coach who helps highly sensitive women to help build their inner awareness while making healthy eating simple so that they can start to make changes to their health and improve their energy. I'm so glad that you could join me today. Hi, Vanessa. So happy to see you here today. Gonna give a couple moments here to let people join in. Today I'm going to be talking about why the children's fable, The Tortoise and the Hare, is an important way to approach your health journey. So we're going to be going over that. I'm excited to talk about it with you today. How is everyone doing today? Having a good Sunday so far? Excellent. All right, so we might as well get started here. Hello, Lynn. Nice to join. Good to see you here. So the first point, for those of you who maybe haven't heard the story about the tortoise and the hare, basically there's a race between a tortoise and the hare, and the Hare brags about how fast he is and how he's going to win, and he brags about his abilities. And when they go to race, the hare starts out ahead, and he gets so confident that he decides to go take a nap in the park. And when he wakes, the race is over because the tortoise beat him. And so I was thinking about this the other day, and how people approach their health and how they try to make changes to their health. And so the first point is that we have to be in it for the long game. We have to be looking at this as that we want to, live our best life. We want to, improve our health so when we're older, that we're still going to be feeling as good as possible, rather than looking at all of the short-term things, because all of that will work itself out if we're taking care of ourselves properly. So in the story, the tortoise knew that even if he was slow and that he was consistent, that he would cross the finish line and get there eventually. So he was in it for the long game. So what this means is not being caught up in the small details. I see a lot of people obsess about, micronutrients, like micronutrients would be like superfoods and all of those things, protein, vitamins, minerals. Now these in general are important, but we shouldn't get obsessed about them to the point that we're not looking at the larger picture. And as well, people obsess about, having a bad day or, indulging a bit too much for part of the day. And so we need to realize that having one off meal or one bad day is not going to matter in the larger scheme of things, because if we're being consistent in our journey over time, that's what's going to matter most. So know that the majority of your actions will matter way more than the one-off things that you do. So if you do, catch yourself, because I see a lot of people do this when they're starting to make changes. So whether they're cutting out sugar, trying to cut out caffeine, or trying to lose weight and trying to incorporate more vegetables, whatever it is that they're doing. They have a stressful day, they have an off day, and they indulge in something that they are trying not to have. So let's say you're cutting out sugar, and, someone brings in donuts and they have one donut. Well, then they get all guilty, feel all guilty, and then they have another donut, and then they have another donut, and then, they're like, well, screw it, my morning's already messed up. So then they have whatever it is for lunch. They just go out and have, a burger and poutine, and then for dinner they're like, oh well, screw it, and they have a whole pint of ice cream and all of this stuff. And And so it all comes from the fact that they're looking at these small things as messing up or, not doing what they're supposed to do. But the thing is that if you had stopped at the one donut, it would have just been one donut. And even if you get to the end of that day, if you just let go of that day and get back to it the next day, it's really not going to matter in the whole scheme of things. It really won't matter 2 or 3 years down the line that you had one off day. The important thing is that you don't let, one meal or one full day keep you from making the changes that you want to make. So, and then lastly, don't get distracted. Like the hare gets distracted and getting confident and thinking that there's a quick way to do things. There's no such thing as quick fixes or fad diets. There are always going to be coming up with things where people think this is the newest next thing. And I think this stems from, we are very much an instant gratification generation. We're so used to shopping on Amazon, clicking a button and getting something the next day, or whatever it is. We're used to getting results very quickly. But there are some things that just simply take time. So the issues, whatever they are, having issues with your sleep, issues with your energy level, issue like weight, whatever it is, did not happen overnight. They were from long-standing years of habits and practices. So in taking that long to get you where you are, it is also going to take time to get you back to before that. So you have to have faith that, general things will work. And you have to give yourself time to let those changes take effect, because some things actually just take time and consistency for you to be able to see results. A lot of things aren't going to happen overnight, maybe not even 2 weeks. It might take a month of consistent action for you to notice certain changes to happen. So you have to support and have faith that support your body and have faith that, it will do what it needs to do to heal and get you feeling better. And so, I'm sure we've all been there. I mean, I've had those bad days and, and just screw it, ruin the whole day. But it's very important that you just keep looking at where you want to go in general, what you want to feel, that thing, the feeling that you want to feel, and keep that in your mind as your goal in the future, and you will get there. So the second thing is consistency. The hare runs and then stops, has a nap, and then he starts running again, but by then he's so far behind. So it is in our health, it is the daily consistent actions that make the biggest impact. I once had someone ask me, they were asking about in general what they could do to improve their health and different things, and they were really worried about this one day that they indulged in a pizza, and they had all the stuff at this one meal, and they were worried about that. And they're like, is that going to be a big deal if I do that once a month or whatever it was? And I said, I wouldn't worry about what you do once a month. It's more the things that you do on a daily basis that are going to contribute to whatever is going on in your health. So, if you're having a pizza night, not to say pizza's unhealthy, but whatever it is, if you're having it once a month, that's not going to be what's contributing to your issues. It's the things that you do every day. So if you have a ton of, cream and sugar in your coffee, or have a donut every day, then those things every single day or throughout the day, multiple times throughout the day, are going to more so contribute to whatever you're dealing with. So it's important that you also focus on the foods that feel good. So in majority, try to find, whatever percent you want, 80, 90. I try to aim for 90% of my foods to be foods that make me feel good, foods that give me energy, the ones that I know that will help keep my mind clear of brain fog and all of that stuff. And then you can have the little indulgence in between that, I know might make me a little tired for a couple hours, but I'm just indulging a little bit there. And I actually know of people who simply cut out sugar and cream from their coffee, or even cut out the coffee that they're having. They're having 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day, and they felt better and lost weight after just a month. So it's more those consistent actions, and that's not going to be the case for everybody, but the consistent actions that you do every single day are going to make a much bigger impact on your health than those one-off things, date night or night out with the girls are really going to do. And the third point I have today is making sure, making 1 or 2 manageable changes at a time. So the Hare, was super overconfident and didn't actually look at what would make him successful to get what he wanted. So many times in health, how this applies to our health is that people they want almost like a shortcut, or they want to get there faster. And I'm very much that person. I'm like, I want to feel like this. I want to do this. And unfortunately, that isn't always what's going to work. So doing everything at once. And so in your health, how that translates is it's important to realize where you are in your journey. So don't look at other people and what they're doing and think that you are way behind, or that I can't even do that. So I get a lot of people who look at what I do on a daily basis and they say, I could never eat like you or do that like you. But realize that I've been doing this for 4 years, and I've made a lot of small changes over those 4 years, and slowly made those changes to get where I am today. So don't compare yourself to others. Look at where you are, be understanding of where you are, and just start there. And start with 1 or 2 changes that you can make right now, and try that for 3 weeks to a month. Get comfortable with it. Kind of allow your body, your mind, and your emotions to adjust, because when we start making big changes, like I go back to the example of sugar, which is a very, a thing that a lot of people are trying to cut out or limit. There was a time when that was my main goal, so I just focused on decreasing sugar in my diet. I didn't focus on cutting out wheat. I didn't focus on all these other things. It was just sugar. So, I started looking at labels, which was something I hadn't been looking for before because it wasn't a concern. So I started looking at labels and finding where sugar was in things, and then finding recipes maybe to make at home so that it would have less sugar, or no sugar, like using more natural things like maple syrup. Finding different meals, different ways to make my meals, and things like that. So it was an adjustment. It took me a while and a lot of trial and error for me to get to the point where I was comfortable being pretty much sugar-free. So it's important that we make these changes one thing at a time. Because the thing is when we make too many changes at once, 2 things can happen. If we notice an improvement in our energy and, how we feel, and we've made like 10 different changes, we're not going to know specifically what played a part in improving our energy or helping us to sleep better or to feel less pain or whatever it is to decrease inflammation. We're not going to know because we made 10 different changes and we can't pinpoint what actually made a difference. So that's important as well, to know what's actually working for us. Because if you cut out sugar, cut out wheat, cut out dairy, cut out, eggs, cut out all of these things, and start taking a certain supplement and going to bed early and all of these things, you're not going to know which. It's likely maybe all of them did, but you're really not going to be able to pinpoint what made the biggest effect for you. and what can really work for you if you're doing them all at once. And then the second one is that it can be extremely overwhelming for your system mentally when you're attached to certain foods. Emotionally, as you know, sometimes taking away things can create like a detox effect, and old emotions can come to the surface. And you know, also when we start taking stuff away, the ego really doesn't like that, and it feels like a sense, like a loss of control, and we can kind of have almost that inner toddler come out and say, no, I want this food. I don't know if you've ever had that, but I had that realization once when I was doing a detox, and I was like, no. In my mind, I was like, I want this food. I want it. And I was like, oh goodness, that really sounds like a toddler. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but you know, it can be a mentally, emotionally, and sometimes even physically overwhelming to be making these changes and cutting things out and improving, adding in things, because it's a change for our body. So it's better to do these things slowly, gradually over time to make it less overwhelming, so that we're more likely to follow through. And let's see what else I have here. Many people give up before they even started, because they look at all the things that need to get done and they just give up. So when you look at it, instead of, oh, I need to change these 20 things in my health, and say, okay, I'm just going to change this one thing. I'm going to focus on it for now, and that's going to be my main focus. And it just makes it much more simple, and less overwhelming in general. And that's pretty much it. Anyone have any questions about that? Any personal experiences? Excellent. Okay, well, I hope that was helpful. For anyone watching the replay, if you have any questions, feel free to PM me, or send me an email. And lastly, if you are looking for more ideas on how to improve your energy and to feel generally better with self-care and nutrition, here are some other things you can do. So make sure you're tuning in every Sunday. So today I changed the time to 5 p.m., but normally it's Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I'm going to be doing weekly lives on different trainings around nutrition, self-care, holistic health, mindfulness, those kinds of things. Second is, if you haven't joined already, you can join me over at the Sensitive Soul Seeking Change Facebook community. I have a link for it in my Instagram bio, or you can search for the Sensitive Soul Seeking Change on Facebook. This is the place for highly sensitive souls to connect, where you can get access to content around being highly sensitive, being a highly sensitive person, holistic health, free resources and paid resources that are there to help highly sensitive women. And lastly, I'll be starting weekly on Wednesday, Q&A and discussion session. So Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosted in this group, we're going to be doing a discussion about whatever topic I had on Sunday, and additionally you can bring any health questions that you would like answered, and I will do my best to answer those. All right, so you can do that. And lastly, if you're at a stage in your journey where you think you could use some help, you would like to have someone make an action plan for you, make it nice and simple and easy, feel free to book a free 30-minute nutrition and energy consult with me, where I can discuss how I might be able to help you to create a plan of action and find out kind of what's holding you back from moving forward, and see if maybe we're a good fit to work together. If you'd like to do that, there is a link in my bio, and you just click on free 30-minute energy and nutritional consult. Okay, I would love to chat with you and help you through whatever is keeping you stuck. All right, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sunday, and we'll talk soon.